This is a wonderful 16mm film of Medford Lakes in 1940, showing the trails, Mirror Lakes, the First Beach, Lawn Community House, the Log Cabin Lodge, Camp, Mr. Brooks, a community garden, which is now Jackson Park, and a good deal about the 13th Canoe Carnival. And please note, this is 60 years ago, and all the film and memory is not always clear. So bear with Janet and Clint Alexander as I reminisce about this wonderful film. This is going across the lower end of Chippewa Trail from the Beach 1 area. This shows the old gravel trail, which was put on top of the old white sand. And our borough workers are doing their work along the trail. Down below here, we're running into old Tom Bethel. He and his family were very active in the community. And soon we'll be down here showing where they are filling in the holes along the trail. Now we're swung over onto McKenderman Road, which is the Macadam Road. The Mirror Lakes are off to the left. We're going to be down to Beach 1 very shortly. This is the rock garden, which the film will back up to. The truck is going across lower Chippewa Trail. We're approaching the intersection of McKenderman Road and Tabernacle Road. Now we're at the Beach 1 area with lawn straight ahead. Now we go back to the Hibbert's cabin on McKenderman Road. They were very interested in flowers and they picked local sandstone to make the rock garden. They're very successful at it. He was a past president of the Colony Club, so he got involved in a whole bunch of stuff. And then his wife did a lot too. I believe it was Mrs. Hibbert. I hope I'm right. You see the infamous Jack McGarry, who ran the lodge, and please observe the lawn on the Stokes Road side. Many a wedding reception was held there for years. Here's a front view of Log Cabin Lodge. I'd like to have a few of those cars sitting there right now. Notice the screened-in porch with the canvas roll up top, so when the rain came, it lowered down. Mayor Leon E. Todd and his faithful secretary of about 45 or 50 years, Hannah Benke. He's a developer and founder of the Medford Lakes. There's a good picture. We're showing the fireplace that used to be in the borough offices, which was removed to put a picture window in there. All dressed up as J.C. Alexander, who was president of the Colony Club in 1939 and 40, who was highly responsible for all the work done to get Vaughan Community House built after the building preceding that fell down in a Thanksgiving 1938 snowstorm. Now we're heading over to the community house, an early picture after it was completed in 1940. And if you look to the tree to the very left, just beyond the building, you'll see as part of a roof. That's where the bell that was used in the Colony Club for so many years to call kids to camp and come down to the activities that went on in the community house, and swim time and lunch time, and was used for 35 years or so. It's in the Colony Museum for those that want to go see it. Now we're going to spend some time in the camp activities. I'm going to swing over to Beach 1 during some of the swimming and diving instructions by the camp counselors. This is a platform that goes from the edge of the beach out into the middle of the water, held up by pilings for about 50 yards. In fact, it was used for part of the swimming program. They used to have a platform that was held up by 55-gallon drums out in the middle of the lake. And it used to be an achievement for the youngsters in the camp to swim from the beach out to the 25 yards. And then when they became better swimmers, they would bypass that and go out to the middle of the lake. Now the activities in the camp, that's Ruth Tucker, a friend of ours. Janet and I were counselors at the same time. Well, one of the major features in Medford Lakes is the camp, and in which the children went to camp for 7, 8, 9 weeks during the summertime, and all the parents were involved and some of them became counselors. That's Gus Heiser there, brother of Carolyn Heiser Peterson, who still lives here. She'd be glad to see this picture. He was a lifeguard, same as myself, for many years. And the favorite pastime of the youngsters, that looks like one of the Cottrell boys. I'm not positive. This is part of the Hibbert family there. That's young Al sitting on the baby coach. He's running the photography business in Philadelphia right now. Now each year we went on an overnight hike, and we went out behind what is now Anita School, called the Horse Desert. There were some paths there that led to past Jackson Road, but you had to start off from here. This is what the trails in Medford Lakes used to be like. You used to take the young kids there for part of the camp work. Nothing like having that swig of water along the trail. That's Stan Alexander, I believe, and Grant Walton, the counselors. Senior group playing volleyball. Now the tennis courts, preceding the way they are today, they used to have cedar poles with chicken wire attached to them, and that's gravel surface that they had. Later they went into clay. You had to win a few tennis games to get your medal and your camp shield. This is Brooks Field, was named after Phillips O. Brooks, the first head counselor in Medford Lakes. Everybody brought their bikes. Later on they built things to stash them in so they wouldn't lay them on the ground. That's young Al Hibbert there, the catcher. That's the photographer's son. Just close to the tennis courts, they had a counselor's cabin there, and they also had a volleyball court. Now this is Betty Loesch, is a counselor in the green. She's currently here, Betty Loesch Plachter. She's a golf champion for many years in Medford Lakes. They did all kinds of activities, from gathering flowers and identifying was part of the camp thing, and they had races over on the the ball field, and this one seems like it'll never end, but it does. Phyllis Geipel-Mortis, who is still here, she's the girl counselor there in the center all the way to the right. I think these are the intermediate girls.
To wake up all the neighborhood, to bring to every boy and girlie his happy serenade on wood. Hear him picking out a melody, peck, peck, pecking at the same old tree. He's as happy as a bumblebee all day long. Come on and try that rhythm. Just let your heart beat with them.
Yeah, the midget girls are going through a little tug of war here, and as you can see, it's a little lopsided. One side has more than the other. They can't hold on. This is down at Beach 1 where they had the seesaws in the back, you'll see. Now we're going up to up Stokes Road. We had a dump there where the trash from the local area was taken. Mr. Harry Walton was very interested in this kind of thing. The Burden Boys, Louis Timmons and Gene Taylor and Muriel Parker, some of the original people here, the children of the originals, they went up and were interested in it, as well as Harry Walton's friend, you'll soon see here in a moment, Dr. Cottrell, who was very interested also, and the Geipel children were there, and they had some pretty good marks, as you can see. There's Phyllis Geipel to the right, and Bob Burden on the left. Now you're going to see the real operators. Well, the first row is Bernice Thompson, and I forget the second girl's name. The third girl in the first row, Ruth Tucker, and then Betty Toland. Second row is Phyllis Geipel, Myra Musty, Betty Plachter, and Janet Kalehoff Alexander, my ever-loving wife. And the third row is Booth Cates, Ed Meyer, Stan Geipel, and Grant Walton. And up on top is Phil Brooks, Gus Heiser, and Mr. Brooks, the counselor-in-chief, and yours truly, Clint Alexander the Great. And then the last two on the top row, I can't decipher who they are. Mr. Brooks came from Camden High School and was counselor here for quite a few years until he passed on. And everybody loved him, and the Brooks Field this is who it was named for. This came about as a result of an interest of a colonist. Someone wanted to play a little bit of badminton. As I said, somebody was interested in it. They made an announcement who would be interested, and they volunteered to come, and they put up a couple things, and I believe it's across the Tabernacle Road from Beach 1 in the old parking lot. This is the way Medford Lakes developed itself and became so interested in so many things that everybody volunteered to work, and that's how they do a lot of it.
Promised kiss of springtime that makes the lone.
Well, this is the community garden, which was the other side of the community house and down by the Lock Cabin Lodge. And we had a professional from Philadelphia, happened to be a member of the Lakes, and he drew a layout of how to plant the various flowers that wanted sun, and those that didn't want sun, to put it on the other side of the hill. And he's completely supervised an awful lot of things, and they had a lot of activities in there. Part of the Colony Club was a beautification, and this part of it was taken care of by those folks. And they did a commendable job. This is the entranceway to get into that phase of it, but this was before they put the great big log across. Not too long after this, E. Earl Jackson died suddenly, so they dedicated the community garden to him, which is Jackson Park today. Now we're getting into the 13th Canoe Carnival, August the 3rd, 1940, and this is the crowning of the Queen ceremony, which J.C. Alexander, the current president of the Colony Club, will be crowning the Queen. The page boy is Tony Jackson. The Queen in the middle is Libby Tolan. And to the left, one of the attendants is Terry Redding. That's the sister of Junior Surveyor. And Bernice Thompson on the right. Now, while I have an opportunity here, I want to talk about the upcoming floats that you'll be seeing. I want to point out that all the lighting on the floats was gotten there by automobile batteries, which were connected to lights that were attached to the inside of rain gutters that had Canoe Carnival chairman, Mrs. Helene Bricker. This is float number 1. And float number 2, the Queen of England. The Brickers family put that one in too. Through the Looking Glass, put in by the Bucks family, up on Blackfoot Trail. And waiting for brother, the Ken Fay. This is God Bless America by Mitch Hopkins. You'll notice a number of floats, patriotic floats, in view of the war about to become. It was well known we're going to be in it. And the Camp Girls, there's the next one coming up with the Reese family. There's a very interesting one here called the Bathhouse Cavalcade. And this particular float got second prize. I haven't been able to identify this particular girl. It was 1890. And the 1915 girl is a girl that currently lives in Medford. That's Jane Fessler Brick. And 1940 coming out here, Jean Loesch, who used to live here. Now the Mountain Boys, this float is the Mountain Boys of Medford Lakes, put in by the Cooper and Geller families. Abe Lincoln was put in by Walt Freeze. This is shall we say, a spoof on Hitler and Mussolini, who were attempting to carve up the world at this time. And so their idea was to put them behind a fence and stop them from doing all the things they were talking about doing. And put in by a Dr. Fessler. Now 36 is Home Sweet Home, put in by the Whitlock family. This is the Moonbeams, put in by the Gilbert Pates. The next one, the Cottrell family, Dr. Cottrell's family, wasn't able to really identify that. And this Tulip Time, with the Purcell and Charles family put this one in. Medford Lakes, we're second our Camp Girls. And then the Bennell family put in a Worthy Cause. The Slachters put in Time on My Hands, which is a nice idea. And then young Ed Todd, a personal friend of mine, put in this to replace the divots on the golf tee. And that's Lou Colley when he was real little, sitting in the front. Mr. McGarity, the owner of the hotel, loved dogs, so he put the float in showing off his couple of dogs. And this one is float 11, The Three Bears, put in by the Brysockle family, was a triplet born within the family, I believe it was. That's what made them think about it. Now the Indian Girl, this was designated as the first Miss America. This is June Reddy, sister of Terry Reddy. And that came in 8th place. Now the Red Cross won first prize, put in by the Todd family itself. And so who painted and so forth. There's talent within families that just comes out in times like this. Either neighbors, they get together, the whole camaraderie of a canoe carnival is absolutely remarkable. In fact, in this particular one, they estimated that there were 25,000 people scattered throughout the lakes. Playmates was put in by the Beck and the Brand family. Two families got together. Now we had the water wheel put in by Tom Bethel, the fellow you saw on Chippewa Trail a while back. Now we come into swing time. Okay, that's put in by the Bondi family. And this one here took 3rd prize. This Pals, put in by McFarland's. The Hilt family put in their daughter to be the ballet dancer. And the next one should be the Swiss family Robinson, put in by the Myers family. In fact, there's the Towheads, Jack Meyer, the Phillies pitcher, and Meyer Real Estate. Moonglow. I'm saying that this is Kay McFarland Gillen. Oh, that's Kay, sure as heck. Her husband's still here, Jack. And her daughter, Mary Kay. Oh my God. Moonglow, put in by the Schaffhauser family. From Bicycle Built for Two, got 4th prize. Put in by the Bickley family. And another one, Spirit of America, by Dr. Purcell. And Cocktail for Two. And that's our friend Terry DeMarco, who's sitting there in the white dress. Don't know who the fellow is. The Mexican scene put in by the Roger O'Brien family, who were the ones that built Big Timbers on Stokes Road. Pinocchio by Dr. Cutteroff, who has 2 or 3 sons still in the area. And I think that's Madeline Rich is the fairy godmother. Babes in the Woods, put in by the Bryan family, and they won 6th prize. That's the 36th float. There's Dr. Reese Smith, another doctor, one of the marshals. Now we're back to the end of the carnival, in which Helen Bricker, who was chairperson of the carnival and also supervised the building of the floats. See that old Queen's chair? We used that, must have used that son of a gun for 15, 20 years.